Welcome, my Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your work, career, and vocation read for July and August 2021. I'm your reader, fellow Earth sign, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle production since 1998. Can you believe it? The Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my goats. I hope you are all well and very, very happy to be sitting in air conditioning, though I had the air conditioner turned off because otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. The vent's right up there, the thingy, whatever, the blower, whatever that's called. And I'm having a lovely, lovely week. I did a house call last night, a lovely mother and son, just like 5 miles away from where I live. It's been my first house call in like 2 years. It was lovely to be out in the world. Thank you, J&J. So, yeah, if you're local and you want to book me, I'll make a house call. I used to have people come to the house. I only do that with people I've known for a really long time. Until I find office space, you know, outside of my house. But for right now, things are fine. Otherwise, if you want to book me for a read, you can email me at drawingthecircle@gmail.com. Just give me a couple of days, because if it's your first time emailing me, chances are it's going to be in spam, and it takes me a while to sort through all of those. Otherwise, reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Angelo Lyons in Holbrook, New York, Long Island, New York, and the profile picture is me, a little hard to miss. But other than that, let's get down to biz, shall we? A 3-level of power reading, as I learned 3 levels of power from Caroline Myss. This is her archetype deck. We'll be using those for the first 3 cards down. Looking at your life purpose through work, career, and vocation. There are chakras involved, and there's a link from Caroline Myss doing on YouTube of Caroline Myss lecturing on the 3 levels of power, like eau de toilette, cologne, perfume, 3 levels of strength, right? That you can apply to many, many areas of your life. We're just doing it through your life purpose as work, career, vocation, the physical, the emotional, mental, and the spiritual, if you want to look at it that way. And lots of interesting links down there, as well as my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, $9.99 USD, United States dollars, on Kindle. Go check it out. Go check out the preview. The dedication's to my mom, and I think you can see the preview on that as well as some of the reviews. Other than that, let's get up in this gig. I am a Virgo. I love serving Capricorns. I truly do. I have said over and over and over, if I met the right Capricorn, I would marry them, because they tend to, yeah, be slow and steady wins the race, but they win the race, and very durable. An immovable force to my, what is it? An irresistible object to my, what is it? Irresistible force, immovable object. Obviously, I'm the irresistible force. So let's get up in this gig. It's a general read. You know all that. Check your other signs. We'll find where the leverage is for you in this read, but sometimes in one reading it can be your work, another your career, another your vocation. So other than that, both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box, and I got a lot of cool stuff on Vimeo. Vimeo on demand, as well as free stuff. Linky dinkies below. That about it. Let's do this. Breathe. Downloading. Buffering. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose through work, career, and vocation, and the higher selves of all involved for the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. Please, what is the 8th chakra dynamic for their work, career, and vocation separately? Right, what's going on in the 8th? The archetypes being developed, being the soul powers being alchemized from shadow to light, lead to gold, toxic to healthy in themselves, in a situation, somebody else, some of that, all of that. July, August 2021 for their work, for their career, and for their vocation. Those came out. It's really humid here. Had on the AC to cut down on that. Makes the cards stick together. It's not fun. Now, you already know what these are. They're in the titles. Let's see how brave you are. The Eternal Child, the Femme Fatale, and the Pioneer. All right, all right. Now, look, as lovely as an archetype sounds, is as toxic as it can be, and vice versa. Femme Fatale, we'll talk about her. But it's not a feminine family archetype. It's a wild card, so that's really not about gender. But interesting, the first level of power, the literal world, representing the lower three chakras, right? How you navigate and work through the world. The lower three chakras govern survival intuition, and you have a survival family archetype. Everybody has the same 4 survival family archetypes. The child, the victim, victor, right? That's balance of light and shadow there. The empowerer, saboteur, which is hard to say, and the prostitute archetype, which has very little to do with sex. So everybody has a child archetype, because that's where we learn to survive originally, is as a child. But not everybody has the eternal child archetype. It's a sub-pattern, and the only archetypes in this deck that have sub-patterns are the child, because there are so many. It's like a pantheon of the child archetype. So the shadow is the toxic, and the light is the healthy. It's what you're working on here from the 8th chakra point of view, and the 8th chakra affects everything else underneath it, right? So to get up into that 8th chakra, which will be your vocation, kind of more specifically, but this is about your survival in the physical world. Shadow attribute, inability to grow up and be responsible. Never met a Capricorn like that. Extreme dependency on others for physical security. Now that is something that may not be lifelong. I mean, everybody has the child archetype. You may certainly have the eternal child lifelong. But I gotta say, what I'm feeling on that is after this past year and a half, I can understand relying on other people. But the word we're looking here is dependency on others, and that's really toxic. And we all we've all gotten through this together. So there's a fine line there, I'll admit. But check out the light attribute. Determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. Ability to see things with fresh eyes. And since the world has gone through such drastic transformation on just about every single level, I mean, even like the ecology got a break there for a while, pollution levels dropping, right? Yeah, a lot of the world's on fire. We're going through huge transformation here, but certainly to then see the world with fresh, new eyes. Interesting. In your career, the Femme Fatale. Now, Morticia Adams, right? Femme Fatale. Elvira, right? You know, these are sort of the cartoony versions of, but, you know, there is also Mata Hari, right? There are plenty of feminine energies, and this is not about biology. This is an archetype of the Femme Fatale. If it was in the feminine family, I could say, yeah, there are 9 families of archetypes. But this is the wild card, so you never know what you're going to get with the wild card. The shadow attribute, inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Now, the funny thing is some women actually said to me, why don't you get an OnlyFans page? I'm like, because my mother's still alive. That's why. I mean, I'm 52. I know I don't look at things. But, you know, I'm not, I don't necessarily need to do that. I don't feel like that's something I am called to do in this life, so to speak. And if you don't know what OnlyFans is, don't bother. It's okay. The light attribute, though, this is what you're shooting for, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine. That doesn't mean female. That's the magnetic, right? Masculine, electric, feminine, magnetic, yang and yin. So this is that pulling in, that gravitational pull of the Femme Fatale. Opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. So there we literally have the word dependency, the exact same phrasing of it, dependency, not dependence and dependency, both in your work and in your career. So if your dependency has been rejected, this is telling you how to balance that in your career, though it may be going on in your work. So we added a survival family, a wild card family, and the pioneer, which is the creative family, right? Because they create pathways, they create new, well, they don't create new lands, but they certainly, it's that journeying. Now, now this is in your vocation, this is about your spiritual calling. The shadow attribute, compulsive need to keep moving on. Right? Well, did this, now what you got? Right? There can be some impatience in there, some inability to commit. But the light attribute, passion for doing and creating what has never been done before. There's a difference between an explorer and a pioneer. You can explore a type of cuisine. That doesn't mean you pioneered it, right? This is really going where no eternal child, femme fatale pioneer has gone before. All right. I'm feeling a little wibbly wobbly on this. Let's keep going. You sort of get the vibe on that, I hope. Really, inner child work, I highly recommend anytime the child archetype hits the table anywhere in any reading. To give yourself the love that only you can give them. And that's certainly going to be helpful if your dependency has been rejected with that femme fatale in your career. Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Now let's look at the heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra aspect of the emotional, the willpower, emotional power, willpower, mental power, and spiritual power here in your work, career, vocation. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my goddesses of earth and the sign of Capricorn, Persephone, spring maiden, summer lady, and queen of the underworld, please 3 cards in clarity for my beloved Capricorn collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. They've got the eternal child in the 8th chakra of their work life, their survival intuition, what's going on inside them there. They've got the femme fatale in their career in the 8th chakra. What's going on inside of them there? I think this is going to be very telling because there is that, I mean, it is feminine in sense of that magnetic, so the world behind their eyes, not the world in front of their eyes. And with that pioneer in that lovely 8th chakra there in their vocation. How are they receiving that heart, throat, third eye, crown? Let's see, the eternal child with the wise one, the hermit in this deck. So like I said, inner child work. Really, all you have to do is talk to your heart chakra like you would a child, right? You don't shake a child to make it stop crying. You don't threaten it when it's afraid, right? Oh no, honey, it's okay. It's okay. We were, here's an example, dependent upon that check. Or dependent upon that work. There does feel something very physical, tangible here. Maybe you were like artists, actors, dancers. I mean, what has gone on in the theater world and movies and all that has been nuts. I know a lot of artists, not just the performers, but people behind the scenes that really went through a lot and lost a lot as a result of what we've been through in the past year. It's coming back. But to understand that, even if that's not the case, that child in you might really be dependent upon something in terms of its hopes and its dreams coming true. But I do feel a financial component here, not just because you are a Capricorn and Earth sign, but that you are willing to do the work. Like, I don't feel this child archetype is abdicating its responsibility. In fact, it's determined to stay young. You know, I gotta feel it like, you know, people who are in front of the camera, how they're determined to stay young. Now, I have a nice dose of the eternal child archetype for sure. That's why I laugh my ass off, and a lot of my clients do. When I say I'm 52 years old, I thwart my fan and say, thank you. I know I don't look at thank you. Because that's the child in me that just keeps it light, right? To never take yourself too seriously. But with this hermit, you know, the hermit is usually seen up above everything else, going deeper in and higher up to really talk to the eternal child, which does have pieces of the higher self in it. Just going to say that. I will be still an instant and go home. Course in Miracles, lovely lesson. It's my lesson for today, as a matter of fact. In your career, you got the femme fatale. I just have to look. Do we have all three? Oh, you've got 3 major arcana cards. Who just did this? Sagittarius just had this. Not these cards, but 3 major arcanas in a row. The Femme Fatale with the Hanged Man in this deck called Reversal. I love showing this. If you can see the face above water, right? Eyes closed, maybe a little stressed. But if you look at the reflection, her inner self, eyes wide open, and smiling and radiant. So you're not seeing the corona of, oh, I shouldn't say that word anymore on YouTube, I guess. That crown of light, that halo around their head in the traditional Hanged Man. Here you see it in the reflection. So, which is very, very fitting for the heart, throat, third eye, crown dynamic here. This is about surrendering your will to the divine, sacrificing what you thought was going to happen for something better, and maybe even some real enlightenment here, some deeper understanding, highlighting the erotic energy of the feminine, which is, now I want to make sure I say this the right way, and we'll clarify if necessary, not to surrender to the external world, but to surrender to the divine and say, I am the vessel. Fill me, I let go, I sacrifice what I thought it was, perhaps my point of view. Remember, this is heart, throat, third eye, crown. This is not about physical sacrifice. This is about, I'm going to give up what I thought was supposed to happen so that I can come into alignment with something higher and something bigger. And I think you're going to dig that because remember, you got the Pioneer here, 8th chakra. This is essentially, both of these cards are kind of pointing towards your 3rd level of power here. With the Pioneer, you've got the Lovers. Yeah, maybe there's a romantic thing here. I'm not thinking that, unless it's a romance with the divine, which is highly recommended should you get the chance. It's a life-changing decision. The Lovers card is major arcana. It's not a 2. It's a major. It's not a minor. It's not a court card. It's major arcana. It's a major life-changing decision going on here. Can you make, because that's why you often see a masculine and a feminine here, the masculine of the all-knowing mind, give or take, the feminine of the all-loving heart, right? Yin and yang. But the throat chakra is your decision point. What will you do? Spit, swallow, or chew? Did I just rap? I don't think so. So, you know, to create something that's never been done before, right? To, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. I feel like an inspiration is going to come through, but you got to stabilize that child inside of you. You just have to. And it feels like you're going to have to let go of, I don't think your ultimate dreams and goals here, but certainly one where you're like, okay, I got to look at this differently. Particularly, okay, this is for, I'm sure, a lot of you, because I know how hard-working Capricorns are, that you've been doing, and not giving enough time for being, right? A lot of electro, maybe not a lot of magnetic. Hence this hermit saying go within, and once you're in, surrender your will to the divine, the sacred truth of the throat chakra. I learned that from Carolyn Mason. It's pretty heavily in my book, Words of Grace, in the throat chakra chapter. I broke it down by chakra chapter. This way you don't got to read it from cover to cover. You can just go right to the chakra that you're dealing with or want to deal with. The grace of counsel and the grace of protection in the throat chakra. So, you know, this might very well be making the decision to follow the path of the open heart and the wise mind with wise, empowered choices, right? Saying, well, whatever this is, I'm going to do not just what I've never done before, I'm going to create what has never been created before. Talk about going out on a limb. But if you're dependent upon other people to do that, well, I think you need to look at this, oh, there it is, with fresh eyes. Sacrificing your point of view, what you think it is, to exchange perception for vision. A lot of Course in Miracles coming through me today. I'm glad that I can remember that much about it. What's this look like in the physical world, or at least something really affecting root, sacrum, and solar plexus? And let me clarify this for all the work, career, vocation reads that I do. This is about making money as well. It's just about bringing things into alignment so that the money that you make comes from alignment and fulfillment, right? That you're not just doing something in the physical that tortures you mentally, emotionally, and is in denial of your spiritual path. to how to bring that all together, because that's what the world needs big time right now, is people in honor, enlightened work, career, vocation, right? But that's a journey. Nobody nails that in one day. And if they do, they should have a YouTube channel. And even if they do, they're probably not posting that much. There's a lot of inner work. So let's see what this looks like. Root, sacrum, solar plexus, dynamics, and then we'll get you some mantra cards for this to help you heal it all. Please take a nice deep breath. Right, it's like diagnosis and then the last through your treatment. Here we go. Both feet on the floor. They are. Please, whoops, my gods of earth and the sign of Capricorn, Kronos, god of time, father of the Olympians, please, 3 cards in clarity. You know, they let him out of Tartarus a while ago. That's the great thing about Tartarus. It's not a forever prison. It's a rehab. It's a furnace. It's a crucible. Please, 3 cards in clarity for my beloved Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Watching this video, receiving this reading. I need 3 cards. What's going on? Root, sacrum, solar plexus, dynamic, either from the outside looking at them or them from the inside looking out on some aspect of the physical or affecting them. Root, sacrum, solar plexus. Sacrum chakra is money and their relationship with money and finances. And it can be both of those. It can be all of that and a side of Capricorn fries, please. They've got the eternal child in the 8th, the wise one, the Kaliach, the crone in this deck, the hermit. What's going on in the lower 3 chakras? The physical dynamic here, root, sacrum, solar plexus. In their career, the Femme, Fatale, lovely wild cards, all how you play it, said the spider to the fly. With the hanged person, reversal, sacrifice, seeing things differently, and really finding a load off, right? Taking a load off, letting go of something, perhaps a thought system or belief that no longer serves. What does that look like on the outer? And in their vocation, the pioneer archetype in the 8th with the lovers on the inner. By the way, Aphrodite is literally named on the card there. So really bringing that decision of heart, throat, and third eye by really being inspired by that pioneer in the 8th. What's this look like in the physical? Let's not. Double whammy. Okay. 2 major arcanas, 1 minor arcana. Well, do you just have the eternal child with the hermit on the inner and the hermit on the outer? And Kronos, there, I called him out. There he is. This is actually Kronos in the mythic tarot, god of time, one of the earth gods, because time only plays out in the physical. All right? Yeah, there is psychological time. You can Eckhart Tolle that if you want to look at the Power of Now, brilliant book, New Earth, loved it. And there's so many of his videos on YouTube. Just go spend some time there with him. Because sometimes that child, that eternal child, isn't that funny? Because eternal doesn't mean all of time. It means without time, timeless. And Capricorns, you know, you're hard workers. So this is saying whatever it is going on in your work, go within. Why? Because there has been some heartbreak in your career. Now, I rarely read the 3 of Swords as heartbreak anymore, because even if you go back to Pamela Coleman Smith, who designed the Rider-Waite deck, that heart pierced by the 3 swords is not broken. It often means get to the heart of the matter, go within, right? And I'm going to go with that too, but yeah, now I can feel the energy on this. In your career, there is probably some sort of heartache, heartbreak going on here, and I do feel like with your Femme Fatale, your dependency has been rejected in some way, shape, or form, and it broke you a little bit. Now, another reason why I don't really see the 3 of Swords as heartbreak is because that's the 5 of Cups, right? Heartbreak, this is emotion. where the swords is really about mental stuff here. So you take that as it resonates. For some of you, you're just like, I'm just so heartbroken. I don't know that it's necessarily betrayal, but something that you were really hoping for, that you believed was going to happen, either didn't, or because some sort of dependency has been rejected, you're like, okay, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to find out, why am I so dependent on this? Because your soul, the eternal part of you, your higher self and all of that, is dependent only upon the divine. And that's what a lot of this past year and a half has been about, at least for me, right? Trusting that I am a divine child like everybody else in a physical body, regardless of anything they might be playing out in this world, and to surrender my will to the divine, which is the sacred truth of the throat chakra. So there is something here about you maybe seeing this differently as something that is happening for you instead of to you. And that's big. And the Course in Miracles says, this is not happening to you, it is happening for you. But it's the you that you identify as. Are you the body? Or are you the spirit? Really, if you're body identified, touch the wrong doorknob, your life is threatened, right? You know, right? You know what I'm talking about. Well, maybe not so much anymore, right? Or is this really a thing about you getting in touch with your innocence and seeing this in a fresh, new way? Yeah. That magnetic pull in you. Get to the heart of that. And if the heartbreak brings you into it, well, if the Lord can bring you to it, it can get you through it. Thank you, Trixie. Matellia, hello, my name is Mark. I'm a Trixie and gotcha addict. Unfortunately, the meetings are just watching their videos, and that's not really helping. It's healing, though. In your vocation, do you just have the pioneer, lovers on the inner, high priestess on the outer? Get up into your upper chakras, darling. Channel through the energy. You are being used as a vessel of healing. You just are. The high priestess, this is Persephone, the goddess who sits in the throne of Capricorn. Both gods that sit in the throne of Capricorn are on my table in the mythic tarot here. This could not be more Capricornian from where I'm sitting. I have no planets in Capricorn, by the way. But this is her, no longer maiden, no longer summer lady. She is now queen of the underworld. Pomegranate and wilted flowers in her hands, right? Deep knowledge, deep being a vessel of the divine. I think that whatever dependency was rejected here, and again, it might not be from a person, it might have been from an industry, right? Or a clientele that you were dependent upon. I mean, I know a lot of people in healers, massage therapists, all of that have been like, oh, my clients disappeared. I'm like, of course they did. Of course they did. So they're being forced into not just new forms to make money, but I think in your case, and this might take a while because you're going in, right? You're getting to the heart of the matter here, activating your Femme Fatale energy again. Carolyn Jones, Angelica Houston flashed to mind, right? Morticia Adams, as well as the Grand High Witch. Do I need to cast? It's my favorite line in that movie. The original witches. Thank you very much. Love Anne Hathaway, but not so much on them in that film. Derogatory to witches, if you ask me, but Roald Dahl, gotta love him. That really being used as a channel of the divine here, but it is your choice. It's not even a choice, it's a decision that you're being forced to do what's never been done before, and not just by you. And we need that, and Capricorns are usually not overnight with that. Now, I could say, if, like, let's say you're in Aries with a Capricorn moon, you might be wanting to take action right here, right now, but even if you're Aries, that's the first sign of the zodiac, the child. So that eternal child, you know, I'm just, I don't know if this is for everybody, but just feeling the vibe here. The eternal child, if you've really physically been trying to preserve your youthful looks, I know it's not for everybody, then get that the internal is calling you now more than the external. Because it says it right here, a determination to remain young in body, take that as you take it, mind and spirit, to see things with a fresh new eye, And this might be going within and seeing what you consider your patterns, your belief systems, things like that in a brand new way, so that you can kind of do the healing there, clear that up, alchemize the lead, the insulator, to gold, the conductor, for that magnetic pull here, so that the divine can work through you. But remember, the high priestess doesn't talk much. She doesn't let on. You may still, I mean, I see a lot of silence here, actually. The Hermit, 3 swords, more driving you inward, even if it's not heartbreak driven, so to speak. But with the High Priestess, Persephone, well, she speaks to me, but she's not necessarily a blabbermouth. Yeah. So you can keep this under your hat, because you need to go deeper in and further up. I did my house call. I did a mother-son duo house call yesterday. My first house call in 2 years. I went food shopping today at Stop and Shop for the first time in a year and a half. I had so much fun. I was cracking people up. Actually, the son, when I said further in and higher up, I said, did you read the Chronicles of Narnia? He goes, yeah. I'm like, all 7 books? I go, yeah. I go, well, it's the last book. The final battle, the last battle, where Aslan tells them once they get to his land, keep going deeper in and higher up. Well, that's what this is. This is your leverage. No question. But the work you have to do to get there, right? So, last 3 cards down. There's the diagnosis and the prognosis. Let's look at the treatment here, so to speak. The Matcom Healing Mantra deck. The voices of the Ascended Masters of life, purpose, their work, career, vocation. Please take a nice deep breath. My lower back just shifted. Okay. Yeah, you'll get the support that you need from the divine if your dependency has been rejected in the horizontal plane. I get that. All right, please. The Ascended Masters of life, purpose, through the lenses of work, career, vocation. What are the 3 perfect healing mantras for, it's almost like Gila monsters, healing mantras for this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, vocation? They've got the Eternal Child in the 8th, Hermit on the inner, Hermit on the outer. What's their perfect healing mantra? Don't even want to see it until I see all 3. Please just leave it in my hand. Still a little humid in here. In their career, they got the Femme Fatale in the 8th, reversal, Hanged Man on the inner, with 3 of Swords on the outer. Really, even if it's an ouchy career heartbreak, it's something driving them within to get to the heart of the matter. There's their perfect healing mantra. I don't want to look until they're all on the table. And in their career, the Pioneer with the Lovers on the inner, High Priestess on the outer. This is totally their leverage. Yeah, it's going to help them find their leverage in the physical, but the alchemy really seems like it's going down in their career, their internal world. So what is their perfect healing mantra for their vocation, their spiritual calling, 8th chakra dynamic? Ooh, interesting. Now, why I say interesting is 2 of these cards were in the Sagittarius read I just did, but in different positions. With this Eternal Child, you've got the mantra, befriending pain. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Now, not the funnest one, but I do feel like if your dependency was rejected, right, because the shadow here is extreme dependency on others for physical security. Like, let's say you're the boss, and all of a sudden every one of your employees goes mad, whatever, calls out, quits, whatever. Like, that's incredibly painful, particularly if you're dealing with abandonment stuff from your childhood, and that could totally be somebody's story here. In your career, like I said, Femme Fatale, got to see this differently with the Hanged Man reversal, with the 3 of Swords, some heartbreak, discovering happiness. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, and I would add to that, not as the mantra, but as a little sidebar there, because this is all part of the divine plan. This is not happening to you. It is happening for you to fulfill what you came in to do this life, what you came to do in this life as an incarnate soul sent here on mission, if you want to go there. And in that 8th chakra, I don't know if that's garbage truck or Amazon or whatever, but if they're going to pick up the garbage, I will pause this because it's too loud right outside my window. And by getting up into that 8th chakra in your vocation career, Lover's big decision on the inner with High Priestess, processing grief. My losses prove how deeply I loved. And with that Lover's card, how much I gave, how much I put in there, because that's where you're going to get that 8th chakra spiritual calling piece of that to now create what's never been done before, to really pioneer something that's completely dependent only upon your relationship with the divine and knowing that you are eternal and divine. And like I said, that eternal child, really, the inner child, regardless of archetype, subpattern, or any of that, holds within it the seeds of the higher self, the true self. Not just the soul, the higher self. The higher self can manifest many souls. But the higher self itself is just a holographic imprint of the divine. It's a long story. I've taught this stuff for decades. So, there's something really important here. So to process the grief, to let that child cry, and it's interesting because the child archetype here is 8th chakra dynamic, and your vocation is 8th chakra vocation. So just putting the titles together, befriending pain, discovering happiness, and processing grief. The mantras, when discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed, I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, and my losses prove how deeply I loved. And when you get how deeply you love, and that's why I feel like this heartbreak thing here, in other words, is going to say, I'm going to allow myself to be content because I don't know. I need to look at this differently. And, there's this heartbreak. I got to get to the heart of the matter, and I'm going to be content with that. Then you're going to get that even if someone rejected your dependency, a company, a financial institution, whatever that is that you were waiting on, hoping on, dependent upon, it's going to really help you grieve. Now, I'm not the first person to say this, but I should actually post this on the community page. I'll wait until waning moon. Grief is love that doesn't know where to go, right? Because the object of love's affection has disappeared through death, divorce, or distance. And maybe, in this case, a dependency rejected. Yeah. So do the inner child work. Talk to your heart chakra like it is a child. Let it cry. Let it have its voice. But as I say, just don't let it burn down the village, right? Don't harm yourself or anybody else in that process. That's about healing. Although when the child in its shadow, its childishness takes over, possesses you, you do horrible shit you regret later, right? Not just mistakes, really, really bad. But when you come from that childlike place, Pee Wee Herman, childish. Dalai Lama, childlike, right? Just so that we get the spectrum there. Hello, Pee Wee Dalai Lama. Hello. Then really you're going to get how deeply you can love, and that love is the truth of who you are. And no one gets through this life without the wounds of loss, but your losses prove how deeply you love. Even if your love was rejected and your dependency was rejected, you will be stronger for it, and you are being cleared out to be a vessel, a high priestess, if you will, of the divine to create something that's never been done before. Let me put it together for you in a blessing. Please take a nice deep breath. And if you can't talk to your mommy, talk to the mother of all. Just hearing that. The goddess, whatever you want to call it, the ultimate divine feminine. Breathe. As I call upon my collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, and vocation, that they may find the passion for doing and creating what has not been done before, making the essential, loving, wise, empowered decisions in their life that set them up to be the high priestess, keeping some things secret, if not all of it, certainly in the outer world, but being a channel of that divine as they process the grief understanding and really experiencing from a higher chakra point of view that their losses prove how deeply they loved. So in their career, they can highlight the erotic energy of their own feminine dynamic, opening their heart when their dependency is rejected, by going in and inverting, seeing things differently, sacrificing what they think this is all about to get into what is truly the gift in all of this, as the result of some heartbreak, some rejection, some dependency, some loss, particularly with that processing grief mantra there, to get that it's making room for new things to really come in, and allowing themselves to be content exactly as they are, and discovering the happiness of being rather than always doing, because in their work, may they be determined to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, with the ability to see things with fresh eyes, with the hermit on the inner going further in and higher up, and pulling back from the world, maybe not saying a word to anybody except those they can truly trust, to alchemize experience into wisdom, to really take this deeper and have a deeper understanding about their work in the world. While they befriend pain, because when discomfort becomes a friend, their most limiting beliefs are healed, so that they may heal, they may grow, they may evolve, and they may lead the way as a pioneer, femme fatale, eternal child in this world, being a blessing upon not just their work, career, vocation, but everyone connected to them, and ultimately blessing all of life on planet Earth and beyond, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So mote it be. And so it is. I hate to say it, Capricorns, you guys are sort of the Eeyores of the zodiac, which is why I'm such a Tigger. I think I would be rather well matched with the Capricorn, honestly, probably a Capricorn Sun. They can have a water moon in there, that would be nice too. But just saying that this is a little bit of a rough one, but you know, slow and steady wins the race. And you gotta say, with that Saturnian energy, Kronos is Saturn, this is your card. And we all say it's the Virgo card, but this is Kronos. Kronos is Saturn, Capricorn ruled by Saturn. So this might take some time, but you don't have to let on to anybody what's going on. But if you'd like to let on with me, you know how to book me. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, DrawingTheCircle@gmail.com. Drop me a note. It's fine. I live alone, just with my cats. I work from home. I'm out in the world. And if you are on Long Island, if I don't have to drive 100 miles, I'll make a house call if I feel like it's right, until I have office space outside of my home, which I don't think I kind of wanna. I don't mind meeting up in public and doing readings. Otherwise, just check out my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, $9.99 USD, cheaper than a pack of cigarettes. You might find some stuff handy there, because I went through hell and high water when my career fell apart about 3.5, almost 4 years ago. But here I am, right? Good times and bum times, we've seen them all, and my dear, we're still here. Thank you, Ascended Master Elaine Stritch. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed in your work, career, vocation, my beloved Capricorns. Hail! So stupid. Farewell, and blessed, blessed be.